Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So the CEO is still away.
Our dear leader.
Our dear leader.
Not here today.
He's having fun at the beach or something.
Right.
I don't know. But
They brought in the old guy from the bench, sad substitute, try to shoot a three-pointer.
Come on, man. You're the closer. You're like the most important pitcher on the
inning guy.
Yeah.
The relief pitcher, I had no idea.
Yeah. No, not even middle relief. You are the closer. So,
Either way.
So everybody, Jerry Eisinger. So we've talked about my wife going to see this new doctor, taking a lot of blood work, and he said something to her in one of their meetings about he doesn't like iodized salt. And she kind of said it to me in passing, and I didn't think much of it in the moment.
So it was like a throwaway thought almost?
Yeah,
initially?
well, at least to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was watching on TV when she said it.
But he didn't say stop the presses.
No.
Salt, he just threw this thing in there about salt.
I didn't gather that he did.
Yeah.
Again, attention.
Right. All secondhand.
You know. So anyways, it popped back in my head, and I was like, so what's up with iodized salt, right? And did a little research, so did Jerry, and I think there's a consensus. Now, the video I watched is from a very controversial individual.
He could be controversial. However, he really does seem to know his stuff.
He does.
We don't want to promote him because there are some unrelated things in his life, but everything he's presented medically is about as sharp as I've seen anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've watched, I don't even know how many of his videos.
Yeah.
So to your point, in the medical space,
Right.
and he's a clear communicator. He's simply
Massive following as well.
Yes.
Millions of views.
So should we say his name or
No.
All right.
No, too much controversy. It's cancel culture season, so we just stay away. It's almost like how you should approach salt. Just play it safe.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And that's what it's either you're a sugar person or you're a salt person for starters.
I'm salt. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have to choose, that's
there's
a tough
just
one.
no.
I got a sweet tooth really bad.
Oh,
I got
no.
a bad sweet tooth. But really, it's about salt, and it's also about microplastics. We'll talk about in just a second.
We will.
Yeah.
So we know from reading Dr. Kim Berry's book, Lies My Doctor Told Me,
Yep.
that he believes there's no studies that have shown salt to be dangerous, period.
Okay.
So, whether you're pro-salt, anti-salt, you think it leads to high blood pressure or not, this isn't really
Okay.
that conversation.
But
It's
even
more-
that already is a big voice against a lot of what we see from the medical world.
Right.
So
Right.
let's just start there. Let's just throw out the first thing to say what we're about to say really does not jibe with many of what we're seeing or reading.
no. I mean, the textbook, the handbook that's handed out in the medical fields is correlations to high blood pressure. So here's what we did find. The study involved 3 different salts: Himalayan sea salt, sea salt, and iodized table salt.
Right.
Right?
Right. The most common.
And the most common that probably everyone uses. So
Right.
I guess they iodize it because at some point in our history there's iodine deficiencies in people.
Okay, so they have the process to put that in.
They put it in
and
the
I think
salt.
there's also a bleaching process for many of it, many of the brands.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, they also, which is so antithetical to salt, they might add a little sugar.
Right.
You have to add sugar to salt. I mean, as if we're not adding sugar to everything.
everything.
You have to find a way to get sugar into salt as well.
Right.
Can you just leave one thing alone?
Right. And not all of them do it, but there are some that do it.
Yeah.
And then they add anti-caking agents, basically I think, which is aluminum, which is really bad for the brain. So that's your standard table
forget
salt.
the brain. We just don't want the salt to kick.
Right? It tastes really good.
Yes.
But there may be some other stuff in it, right?
Okay.
So sea salt would be next, right? And research shows that I guess it was table salt is 100% NaCl, and sea salt is 85% NaCl, with like 80 plus other minerals that are in it.
Okay.
I'm guessing because of the lack of processing, the lack of heating up, the lack of adding sugar to it, what have you. So conventional wisdom would tell you it might be a little bit safer, right? Now, the argument he made was that sea salt, however, comes from polluted waters.
Plastic is an issue now.
Plastic, you mentioned the microplastics.
It's officially a problem.
Right.
In the fish we eat or in the water we gather to get the salts.
Yep, because it's everywhere. Have you heard about this is off topic, but oh gosh, it's in the Atlantic Ocean, the Great Plastic blah, blah, blah. It's halfway between San Francisco and Hawaii.
I have.
And it's like 200,000 kilometers big or something.
It's basically the size of Texas, at least what I've heard or read in months past. Yeah, I've seen.
And I guess the way the currents run out there, it just tends to hold. And
yes, now it's all just swirling around each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Off topic, back on topic.
Maybe they'll put it on a map one day.
Right.
Travel over to Hawaii and stop in Plasticville and then come home.
Right.
So
the final one that was talked about in the video was Himalayan sea salt.
Right.
And
formed on the earth before plastics got involved.
Comes
thankfully.
from a region where there's no pollutant in the water, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So long story short, the speculation is that Himalayan sea salt, it mirrors sea salt in that it's got a lot of other minerals in it,
right?
But it lacks the pollution. What else did he say?
So far, door number 3 is the way to go. But your body does need salt. I mean, for a lot of different reasons, right? The question is whether or not it's healthier to go with the table salt or have too little salt overall.
Right.
And that seems to be a kind of a tough call.
What's critical to the body's function. It does a lot of things from powering muscles to the immune system requires salt to operate, the adrenal glands. But I would simply dial it back and say that food tastes wonderful with salt. That's my single driver.
There you go. It's in the food.
Forget the adrenals and the immune. I just want the food to taste good.
Mr. Potato Chip over here.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But Himalayan salt obviously seems to be a no-brainer in terms of your healthiest choice. Especially if you got a salty tooth like this guy right here.
So I'm going to have to talk to the wife because I did go home last night.
Uh-oh.
Thawed out a couple steaks and went to go get the kosher salt.
Okay.
Which is not talked about here, and I don't know what the difference in kosher is.
Okay.
But there was a brand new bottle of sea salt in the pantry. And so obviously she's listening to Homeboy and trying to modify her lifestyle, do what she can.
She's on it.
So she's doing wonderful. I'm really proud of her.
She's become like this converted evangelist. She's preaching all this medical information on street corners with a big sign.
She is. Listen, man.
But she's experienced. She's converted because she's experiencing a lot of benefits, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So kudos to her.
Yeah, I think I mentioned the neighbor that came over and was like, "Oh, I haven't been feeling."
Did she have
great.
like literature? Well, have a seat. Let me. She has like pamphlets.
Lay back on the couch. Tell me how you're feeling. Yeah, man. So salt. It was strange when she came home and said that iodized salt. So I'm probably gonna try. It's a pretty simple choice, right? Use a little less of the iodized.
Not asking for a massive lifestyle change. You just buy a different type of salt.
Yeah.
And don't think about it because whenever you reach for the salt, that habit's already there. You're just reaching for something. From the Himalayas.
And I love it, man.
Yeah.
Put it on my ribeye last night. Whole bunch of salt, whole bunch of pepper, a little rosemary.
See?
Threw some ghee in the pan, fried them up.
Man, this is going to evolve into a cooking show soon enough. Let's just get an induction stove top right here.
Wonderful.
Scott can talk about salt and prepare food for us.
Absolutely. Can we bring the smoker in?
Yes, of course. I'll get a vent in here, maybe.
Right.
Anyway.
All right.
But the choice is clear.
Himalayan
salt, door number 3.
Yeah. Or Celtic sea salt. Because I guess it does come from a non-polluted area as well.
Yes. Didn't have quite the data on that, though, that he had on Himalayan.
Maybe we'll run another one day on, like, pink. I don't know what pink salt is and the kosher salt. But Himalayans, that's the one.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So, all right, guys. Questions, comments, concerns, hit us at snackcast@yes.fit.
As the dear leader would say, stay moving.
See ya.